Hello friends, I am back and today I am working on this unicorn horn I want to make for a gift. And I have a wire in here, and this is actually just long enough of a project that you can see at this distance. And I have foil cross unicorn the wire, and I twisted it so it has like ridges. And I didn't make a video of that, and I taped over the foil so then this plaster will stick over. I was either going to do paper mache or plaster, and I decided to do plaster because of my time limit and kind of sneaking around because it's a gift for one of the girls. And it is a unicorn horn, and it's supposed to be from Merlin or a program like that one of my girls is watching. So what I'm going to do is I cut these into strips, thick strips, the width, and then these ones I cut into small strips for the more of the tip. And I think this would be cute. Move this aside for the purpose of having a, a unicorn horn without harming a unicorn. So here's nice warm water in this bowl, and I'm just going to stick my strip in there. You can get these Paris plaster strips from craft stores such as Michael's or Joann's or something. I have Michael's in my area. I don't have Joann's, but you can get them in many craft stores like that. So what I'm going to do is just like a blanket. I'm going to start wrapping it around here. And this stuff is so great. I'm not sure how many layers I'm going to do. You can do as many as you want. I'm thinking maybe 2, 3. I don't think I need too many. So I'm going to just kind of play with it and wrap it, I think at an angle, and rub it in. So I pushed the foil pretty tough in towards the wire. The wire was just there just to kind of form my foil. It doesn't really do anything. It wasn't that thick. It was thick enough to stay straight, but I just wanted to kind of have something to follow along with my foil and make it kind of twisty and have it just something to kind of follow along. So I'm just going to do at least one layer here. I put newspaper down. It's a little bit of a messy process, but not too bad. And I'm just going to twist. I want to try see if I could, how I could twist it. We'll see. I'll shape it a little bit more after I get probably the first layer on. I have twists in the foil, but we'll see how it forms hereafter. So I kind of sneaking this by without anyone noticing, sending kids off to a walk and whatnot. So that's why I have it quite prepared here ahead of time, a little bit of the foil and stuff. So I want to make it nice and straight and strong. So I don't know how many layers, it depends. And this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to continuously going around and around. I think this is going to be a cute little thing. My daughter likes to have little things from different shows or movies, and I think that this is going to be the right touch. What little girl doesn't want a little unicorn horn, especially if they know it hasn't harmed a unicorn in getting it. So I'm going to actually use my thinner strips now for the bottom because it is pretty thick. Now I'm going to drip some. I'm making a lot of a mess here, but I'm going to move this over. And I don't know where they get the whole unicorn thing besides narwhal horns being found on the beach. But there's so many wonderful myths, and I just love them. So I don't know. Is it true? Was there once some unicorns? Could be pretty interesting. And what did they look like? Were they horse-like? It's just something that's always been around and always been, you know, in stories and stuff like that. I'm going to actually unwrap that. I don't want to make it going. I want to keep one direction with this. Now I think that for now, I'm going to shape this up a bit because more you rub this in, you get all these holes filled up. And you can get the feel of the piece coming together. So I'm going to grab some patches. You can do any size. You didn't have to have like big strips. I just want to get it a little bit done here to let it dry and work on, you know, more. But I want to start off with something in big strips anyway. Smooth it out. I want to make kind of some of these ridges here. Let's hope that this will look somewhat like a unicorn horn. Now I have it only up to here. I think I might try see if I can add a little bit more of a tip. There is nothing holding that. We'll pull that back off. See, there's lots of time to kind of play with it, and it's got wood, and I'm not going to worry about the wire. I have to worry about wire coming out. So I'm twisting that in. I just want that tip right, and a nice wooden toothpick would be a perfect choice. I think that's going to work. Cutting another little strip. And play with it a little bit more. Oh, I'm not quite liking how it's coming to the tip here again. So I'm just going to take that and pull a little bit further back and make that just a little bit more gradual. Just a little bit more natural here. It's coming together, just a little bit more of a tip, but I really like having a bit of a tip on there. And wrapping it. I did fold it right in half and kind of wrap it up, and now I am happy with that tip. For the first layer, it's going to be perfect. There we go. Now I'm just going to have to kind of fiddle with some of the spaces here. If you could see, I just like to rub it in a little bit more, the plaster. I'm going to be gentle. Okay, so I think I'm working on the next part. When I said a narwhal horn or antler, I think it said horn, I meant tooth. Narwhal tooth. But anyway, this is the next part, and I'm thinking at how to make the ridge. And I'm thinking about just putting a spiral all the way down, and the spiral in this direction, because that's kind of how I twisted the foil. And I might actually want to thicken up the center piece here a bit, and I'm going to do that right now with a strip. I'm kind of keeping my eyes on the door. I dry this with a high power heat tool. Sorry, the dogs. The chihuahuas got barking. Crafting with chihuahuas around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a long strip, and I'm just going to use the rest of this, and hopefully my audio is working, and I am just going to wrap it around. So I'm using this whole piece to do this little piece. So far has used one roll of plaster. So usually in my project I don't use a whole roll. For smaller projects I usually make little ornaments or keychains and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to let this drip. Try not to hit my camera. And there we go. So I haven't made videos in a little while, and I'm kind of back, so that's really been great. I'm really happy about that. But my computer had crashed, so I think I'm going the wrong direction I want to go. So I'm going to go the other direction. I believe I want to go this direction. Anyway, so I'm just on a loaner computer trying to get a system of my own for me and my girls. So if you by chance interested, I have a GoFundMe on my YouTube channel to help out with that, just for some support to help us out with getting that. No pressure There we go. Hopefully that works. Am I going the right direction this time? I might not be. Does it feel like the right direction? We will see. So right now, this is not how it's going to look. It looks pretty rough. But with the next layer, I'm thinking, and smoothing it out a bit, it's just going to give it that ridge that I need. Anyhow, so I do have a link on my YouTube channel for the GoFundMe if you're interested in helping out to get us up and running normally again without having to worry about borrowing something else, another system. Anyways, look at that. I'm actually liking how that's looking. I had a lot of people ask how can they help, and then I thought, well, I'll just put that on the channel, and there we go. Now I'm just going to go over and see how I like that. Oh, you guys can't see a thing I'm doing. Sorry. I'm going to go over and see how I like that. Actually, I won't go over. I will wait for a moment. I'm going to put that kind of just hanging that on my bowl. I'm going to smooth this out a bit because I'm rushing it a bit. And I want to kind of make it just fit in over. The nice thing about these is that you can go over the dry piece and it will adhere. And if you wet your thumbs and go over, or your fingers and go over what you've done, you can fix any thing that you find that you don't like. This is where I added my piece to connect, so I gotta be careful rubbing that in. But I want that swirl that's there, and I hope I did it in the right direction this time. Okay, I think I do have to use smaller strips, so I'm gonna be cutting this one in half. Now it's wet. Normally I'll cut it dry. This time I'll cut it in half wet. It's not too hard. These are the scissors I've been using every time for this, and I've been using them for over a year when I do this kind of stuff, so it's safe to use. There we go, on your safe to use with scissors. You're not wearing them down or anything. It's easy to cut through this stuff. There we go. The smaller strips is more manageable for this part. The larger strips kind of, you don't want to add any more wrinkle. Now you just want that groove. Well, I just want that groove I added in there to be the detail. I don't want to have a wrinkly horn or horn. It would be a horn. It's not an antler. It's not a deer. And there we go. Smooth it out. I'm loving it. Now this is the layer that I'm going to be a little bit more careful with because I'm not sure how many layers I'm putting on. So I want to start smoothing it out, making it look really nice. So I'm going to add, if I want to fix anything, I'm going to add a little water to my fingers and just rub it through. I do have some stuff that's fallen. I can pick that up. The plaster. Okay, another strip. It's one of those things that could take a little while, but it's really worth the effort. Now, here we go. Depending on how hard he dries or it dries, I will then determine on what I want to do next. If I want to add another layer, if I think it's strong enough, if I think it looks good, I'm happy with it, that kind of thing. So with these ones, I don't need to have the whole strip, so I'm going to cut it down and put them in between every kind of groove I added. That's nice. I love it. The next one, straightening it out. So this could take a while. And this is just kind of playing with it and getting it. Now I want to smooth that out. One of the easiest things I've made. I think. Who doesn't love a unicorn? I'm going to have to add a little bit up here because it's just too much of a ridge. But that's the nice thing, going a little bit pieces by pieces here. I think I can add a strip about this big. And just kind of add it to the ridge. And rub it in and make it all blend in nice. After all this, we're going to gesso it and then paint with acrylic paints, and to make it look like a natural white, off-white bone kind of color and have some shadings in it. So that's going to be fun. And that was my second one here. Okay, I'm going to work on my next strip. It's down here. Just little pieces at a time will actually work better for this part here. And this one, just like that. I don't think any unicorn horn will look exactly the same. This is quite different than the show, Merlin. I didn't watch it, but Kendra showed me a picture of it, and it does look quite different, but I think it's unique. There's not too many unicorns left, but the story that Kendra was telling me is that the unicorn can come back to life after Arthur shot the unicorn. Apparently, he's got to go through some tests, and one with a pure heart can bring it back. So we'll see. I haven't watched it, but now I'm interested. Hope I hadn't give anybody any spoilers or anything. I'm just going along these edges here. I'm following it. This one I didn't snip. Seems to be a little bit easier than the top half with blending it in, the whole strip. So we'll see how that works. I like it a lot. This is a very fun project. Watch, everyone's going to want a unicorn horn. So I'm just going to blend this one in. These strips are perfect when they're cut in half for the end here. And let's see, yep, this is perfect. I'm really enjoying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really rub it in. Don't want to lose that ridge that I made in there. The reason I have it in here I don't want to lose it. I put it in here on purpose. And that is just perfect. And the toothpick at the end really helped develop it. Just a little more pointy. It's not so dull. Not Little Junior unicorn with the safety horn. So this is my second layer. Not too bad. Play with it and get fill up anything that looks too unsmooth for myself, and I think I'm really happy with that. Let's see what it looks like after it dries. Horn. And now I think I'm ready for some gesso and some painting. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to gesso and paint it to get it to be looking. I'm first going to do the white gesso, and then I'm going to use some Americano. I'm going to do butter, light butter. I have some almond here, and I have some birch. I might just do different mixtures to get some shading. I don't really know if I want to put any black for shading. I just think I want to use different natural colors for shading. I can use my gesso over here, and here we go. It's going to be really white. And I think I'm losing my brush. And yeah, I'm going to kind of concentrate on the end here, work my way up. There's no right way to hold a horn to paint this. I think I'm going to put a nice glaze on it. I'm not sure yet how it's going to look at the end. I may put a little bit of a glaze on it to make it look more glassy-like. I don't know. That's something. I know that antlers and horns are not too glazy, but this is like a magical unicorn one, so we might make it a little bit more special. So I don't know. That's all depend on choice, I guess, at the end. Yours and mine. If you make one and follow along with this, that'd be so cool to check out. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do so much and then I'm going to dry it off because I won't be able to do this whole gesso thing and then expect it not to be wet and get everywhere. So we will dry it, and I think we will go up to here and dry that and keep working at it. I want to make sure I don't have too thick of a blob that kind of is tacky and takes forever to dry. I want it to dry as even as possible. Here we go. Here's that heavy duty Mastercraft heat tool I have. I'll just show you how it doesn't take long for sure. I keep moving it. It's very hot. Just want to give you a bit of a show. Nice and dry. Doesn't take long with this, so I just want to share that with you. Okay, now I got it on the dry end, and I'm going to work my way down. It's a little faster than the heat tool, but it's very hot, so you gotta be very careful if you have one of these. I use them for huge projects such as melting, well, certain things and that kind of thing, shaping things for shields and whatnot, like the bosses and stuff. So I love this tool for that. So I don't normally use it on my mixed media because that'd be a big thing to be lugging, or to be right there in my way when I'm crafting. But because this is one of those things I really want to dry quickly, see I can handle it now, that's why I'm using such a big tool. Gesso is going to help seal some of that in too, which is nice. There is a bit of a texture to the wrap, just like a cast, perhaps not so intense as seeing somebody with a cast if you smooth it out, but that's why we kind of play with it and smooth it out to help get rid of some of that texture so it looks a little more natural. And then I just see a piece that I missed up here. I'm going to end up getting my thumb in it. There we go. But I think the gesso will just sit on there nice. It soaks in a bit, and then the paint will just really be not soaking into my cast or into the plaster. So that's really just like what a canvas, you know, the gesso just to hold it so up on the canvas kind of a thing. You don't want soaking in and that kind of thing, your paint, and give it some grit too, some tooth. Well, it helps kind of smooth things out, and yeah, handy. And I just like how it's getting crisp, and then I'm gonna the paint will just smooth along after here, and then I won't be using too much paint then, because I feel that I will be using way too much paint without the gesso on top. So I like to gesso anything that I use this plaster with. I gesso before I paint it with regular colors. Now you can see that this guy is really sturdy. So I'm only, of course, put 3 layers, including the spiral layer. So the spiral layer is 1 layer. So it was not that much, a few patches up here and there. And I didn't need to have another whole big layer. So it's just whatever you feel at the time, whatever you're making. Now I'm going to put this to the side, give it a bit. Now I'm working on my buttermilk layer. So I'm got those baked pellets all dry and it looks like a mess, but it is from sandwiches or something like that. And I am going to now work on my next layer, which would be the buttermilk. And the kids tried walking in. I don't want them seeing it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start again, but this time I'm going to start on this end. There's my buttermilk. I love that. And I'm just going to kind of do it all over. Get my end in there. Dry it off. Get my shading with different off-whites and stuff like that, almond and the white birch. And I think that's what's going to make me happy. I don't want to put any black or gray on here, so I'm not. Oh, now getting some more. I got this end here dry, flipping it, flopping it. Now we gotta be careful when we put it down. We don't want to crack it or break it. It's pretty hard, but not indestructible. It's like any other piece that you're making. You don't want to break. But with the foil and the toothpick's pretty strong in there, it's going to be good. Like the tip's not going to break on me. Where I was trying to make it without the tip, not a good idea. I don't even know where I was thinking of that, but it would have been too easily broken off. So now I can just kind of hold it. No using it as a weapon. Isn't that pretty though? And here we go. The buttermilk makes it look more natural, I think. And then the birch is a little lighter, but it's not a white. So I think having a little dry brush of that over top is going to be really nice. And this is the color. Isn't it pretty? There we go. Now I'm just going to dry that up, and then I'm going to dry brush the some birch on it. Going in with a little bit of the white birch, I'm going to go on the high. I think I'm just going to kind of trying to get some of the ridges. Let that buttermilk be a little bit of the darker area. I'm not putting too much paint. I don't know if you can really see a difference, but there is a bit of a difference, which is just slight, which is really nice, more natural. So here is what I'm doing. And you could do whatever you want. You can do like a nice pink and blue unicorn horn for your small child. And of course, let them know that no unicorn was harmed in the making of this video or in the making of your unicorn, and that everybody's safe. So I'm just gonna go around and around, just kind of dry brush some of it. Now I'm going in a little bit in the centers here, but not too crazy. I want it to look toned. I'm not willing to put any gray or black on here, but I'm going to grab my almond, put that drip of that, shake it up a bit more. That might be a little yellow. We'll see how I like it. I'm actually going to grab a smaller round brush here. This is a number 8, but It's not anything will do. I'm just going to get into my ridges a little bit more. This one seems like it's, so I'm just going to get into my ridges a little bit more with this. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just making it up as I go along, guys. So into my ridges, into my grooves a bit more. I maybe would be willing to put any kind of tans or browns in here a bit, but I'm thinking I'm going to keep it as white as possible. Actually, I don't think I'll do that. Thinking out loud. Thinking out loud. It's looking way more natural. You never see unicorn brown horn. So we will keep that. I will just not do that. I definitely would like to put a nice glaze on here and have it just a little more special. There we go. This is looking quite bone-like. I love it. So that is that. Now this is the done unicorn horn. I'm very happy with it. I don't want to put too much more darker. I'm liking the way it is. Very pretty, very light. I got a little bit of a sheen on it. And I will show you. I used Americana sealer and I used the Gloss Brilliant sealer. Did a couple layers of that. Very hard, like bone. Don't drop it. It's not quite hard as bone, but it's a really cute and I love the way it turned out. So I hope you guys like this tutorial and give it a try. What little girl doesn't want to have their own magical unicorn horn, especially if they know it didn't harm unicorn. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.